all strictly crossbreeding humans with dogs and cattle. And
they have a lot of fucking Luciferian
January
shit.
1st, 2024, there was an incident that occurred at the Miami Bayside Mall in which...
Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me again. Let's get straight into it.
But check this. This is back when the government broadcasted an alien invasion in 1939 across the newspaper to scare the people. The interesting thing is this broadcast also took place in New Jersey.
This is Bayonne, New Jersey, calling Langham Field. This is Bayonne, New Jersey, calling Langham Field. Come in, please.
Langham Field, go ahead.
8 Army bombers in engagement with enemy tripod machines over Jersey Flats.
It was called War of the Worlds. It was a 1938 radio drama. Yeah, they just decided, let's broadcast an alien invasion. And it took place at the Mercury Theater on air, which is interesting because we're in Mercury retrograde. You see how they play on your emotions? And then next they're going to say that the aliens are causing climate change. We need to band together and fight them as one world to protect us. Think about it. So then I was over on Shonda's page and check this. They were saying, they don't know what this is. The newscasters, we don't know. We've never seen this. That's a star, and that's a Nikon 1000. That's what they're showing you. Do you see how they play with your mind? Then you think about all the movies you've been shown. There's a reason. It's programming the mind. Project Bluebeam, right? Show you all these things and get you queued up for aliens coming. And remember after World War II, when they took Victor Schauberger's technology, and then Roswell happened? Now you kind of connect the dots. It's our own technology.
Mad one, that innit? What do you reckon? Sheer coincidence. New Jersey as well, though. It gets stranger and stranger by the day, doesn't it? You can't write this, honestly, man. It's like a Hollywood script, isn't it? And it only in America. Only in America. See what else plans out tomorrow then.
There had, in fact, been face-to-face meetings between United States officials and extraterrestrials from other star systems. There's one species that looks something like a praying mantis. And then the short grays are the ones that you see in the cartoons. The tall grays look much different. They look more like humans. And the Nordic blondes, for example, are so similar to humans that they can walk down the street and not be detected. They are way ahead of us in medicine, agriculture, and still, I guess, presumably in technology. We have bases here. They're afraid that we're going to blow up our planet so that it would be uninhabitable, both for ourselves and for visits from them. And they didn't like that idea. UFOs are as real as the airplanes flying over your head.
Of course they've been meeting with aliens. They've been... We looked into the thing yesterday, didn't we? The alien, the alien tapes, the interview with the alien. If that's real, then obviously they've been meeting with aliens. Do you know what I mean? Of course they have. Bob Lazar, I think he said he seen one through a little window back in '89 or something. And Bob Lazar's, the stuff he said when he was called a crackpot. All the stuff now has come true, innit? Even down to what stuck with me with Bob Lazar is the way he says scan. You have 5 fingers on your scanner. I used to use one even work, do you know what I mean? 10 years ago. And he was talking about in the 80s, way before it was introduced to the workplace. Crazy stuff, man. So, yeah, maybe they've been meeting with aliens. Who knows what's going on? Maybe they're teaming up with the aliens, maybe it's Project Bluebeam. I think it's Project Bluebeam, but some of them do look like real, but then again, plasmoids. Plasmoids, am I saying that right? Plasmoids? Look it up. Plasmoids. I think I'm saying that right. Right. But either way, something fishy going on, innit? And they ain't gonna tell us anytime soon.
Sitting out on the porch, and that's when we seen Samson chasing these two towards the house. And the looks on these things' faces is just pure rage and hatred. They see me and my granddad and zero in on us, and they're running full tilt at us. And before I can even say anything, my granddad takes aim, fires, pulls his bolt back, and shoots again. And I look down and I see these two Sasquatch that were running full choke at us. They hit the ground and slid a few feet. And we left them there in the yard because we thought Samson or Delilah would carry them off because we didn't know what they did with them. And we go to bed, and the next morning we get up and they're still out in the yard. He gets his tractor, digs an 8-foot deep hole, and I noticed Samson and Delilah and Copper and Penny are all watching us. And by this time, Copper and the other younger female Sasquatch, they're all about 6 feet tall at this point, so they're getting bigger. And they're watching my granddad dig this hole, and when he gets done, he goes to put a chain around the next closest one's leg, and before he can even do that, Samson and Delilah walk over, as calm as can be. They both grab one of the rogue Sasquatch and just pushed them into the hole. Looked at my granddad, grunted, like kind of nodded their head, like go ahead and bury him. And they stepped back into the tree line and they watched as my granddad filled that hole in. And thinking back on it now, that's why I have the solid belief that the reason people don't find bones of these creatures is that they do bury their dead. That's the only logical conclusion I can come up with, because these creatures do exist, and some of them are docile, while others are straight up monsters.
I get this question all the time, or I see this question all the time when I'm on TikTok or wherever, on the comment sections, even YouTube, like, why do you never find dead Sasquatch? Because one, you hardly ever find gorilla bones, and we all know gorillas exist, do you know what I mean? Especially the wild, all these little rodents and everything get to them, plus the other predators. Not to mention, they bury the dead. Apparently they never leave them behind, they get them and they bury them. Like, not just on this story or whatever, it's just like story upon story you hear that they take them with them and they give them a proper burial. And they've like, listen, I was listening to one yesterday and they said they have like almost politician. You can get done for murder. They shouldn't be murdering humans. It's frowned upon. You have the rogue ones, clearly you have rogue Sasquatch, same as every race. Like there's loads of us. I mean, like same as everyone, you get bad ones and good ones. What it is if it's true, they have rules, regulations, they have people that I think it's 12, and then the 13th is the decider of like the board, like someone sits on a board and if the decider of the board, like they have the 13th, and then even I heard a story about the 13th member was the guy who's in charge got chased, was like moving from state to state, and then last he was heard he was in Mississippi or something because other Sasquatch was looking for him to kill him because they didn't agree with what he was saying. He wanted to have open contact with humans. Again, this all sounds far-fetched, but so did aliens, so did lava sharks a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Do you know what I mean? Stop writing everything off now because it sounds cookie. Do you know what I mean? You can't do that this day and age. Whether it's true or not, whether it's cookie or not. Do you know what I mean? I went off Don't Garden Path there, didn't I? Yeah, he buried the dead, apparently. Let's move on.
There's underground civilizations on this earth who are very advanced. They've got a whole world down there that we don't know anything about. And a lot of people don't even want to believe that. But they have their own sun, they have their own oceans, they have everything underneath the planet. But we were taught that it's really hot inside. It's a molten iron, the center of the earth. And the further down you go, the hotter it gets. So how could anybody live down there? It's not possible. It's all a fairy tale, you see. But if you want to believe that, what our scientists know is only a smidgen of the totality of what knowledge exists.
We touched on this a bit last night with the railroads, underground railroads. All the stuff underground, you're never gonna. They've got underground bases. Underground bases that's not even up for debate anymore. So whatever that comes out about underground bases and stuff, then we've got to like listen. Do you know what I mean? Because it's clearly true. Sex trafficking, child trafficking, everything's on them states. Look at the P. Diddy case, right next to a port. Why would you want to pay all that money to live in a house next to a port? Busy port like that, you'd want privacy. Anyway, and all the tunnels that go from like the Playboy Mansion, is it, and other celebrities' houses, allegedly Michael Jackson's house to P. Diddy, all these underground tunnels that go through LA. People have been on them in the street, they say underground and the grid, and they're showing you tunnels, just like civilians themselves. So yeah, there's underground everything. Plus all the mud floods and everything, do you know what I mean? Everything's been buried. There's things under our feet that we'll never know, maybe never know. Mad things that you wouldn't think. Cities, civilizations, could be anything under your feet. Hollow Earth, Do you know what I mean? As crazy it sounds. Can't write anything off, trust me.
January 1st, 2024, there was an incident that occurred at the Miami Bayside Mall in which we'll say the credible eyewitnesses reported seeing 3 large, tall extraterrestrials that were 8-9 feet tall that seemed to emerge from a clothing store in this mall, which sent the entire population of the mall panicking, running, screaming out of the mall. The duty officer on charge with Miami Police Department called up every single police officer on duty and car in Miami at the time, which was like 123 cars and cops, which that goes completely against all known law enforcement protocols. So you would never, it would be against police protocol to send every cop to that mall unless it was something incredibly serious. And the official story of 30 kids or whatever fighting each other with sticks does not qualify to call up 123 cars with 123 cops in it.
Everyone has a cell phone. Why were there no actual photographs or videos just from civilians?
As they were leaving the mall, the cops had surrounded the mall and were stopping people and checking their phones and deleting photos and video. Eyewitnesses claim to have seen 3 very tall, non-human figures, and again, estimates that the eyewitnesses were saying were between 8, 9, maybe as tall as 10 feet.
Technology we're very aware of, Randy, you and I, about these holographic imaging, that they can do this all over the place. Do you think there's any possibility that this may have also had something to do with a test of some of these technologies we have?
Well, it's certainly possible that was the case.
Because where did they go? It was like they were there, and then the reports are saying, well, they just disappeared.
We have reports that because Navy personnel showed up immediately via portal and portaled them out of there very, very quickly. Naval Space Command personnel showed up through portal and then portaled them out of there right quick. Miami police officer, and he says, you know, I can't answer that question. Well, then we're talking about something occurring that they have to keep covert and keep classified, which is not the official cover story at all. Why else would you say that if, you know, the cover story was actually true? The only reason you would say that is because the story that you don't want people to know is true is actually true. Nobody who has gone on the record, no body cam footage, no dash cam footage, normally in an incident of that size, you would have one cop that would go off the record, one cop that would talk to the local media and go off the record, but nothing, not one. That's more suspicious than the information would be. The lack of information turns out to be highly suspicious in an incident where you have 123 cops on the ground. You should have a lot of information.
For the public, yeah.
You should have 123 body cams. You should have 123 dash cams. You should have 123 cops that had to fill out a report that's all part of the public record. No one can see the incident reports. No one can see the body cams. No one can see the dash cams. That's a cover-up of a story that's not the cover story.
Yes, to me, that's because whatever happened to it? It was a year ago, wasn't it? Was it like January or something, less than a year ago, and it's just been forgot about. There was aliens running around the shopping mall in Miami. Every single police in Miami's police force was there. You'd want in, wouldn't you? You got the call coming through, you'd be, I'm going. Do you know what I mean? I'm missing out on that. But when did they ever do that? And apparently it's illegal to send everyone there or frowned upon. It got swept under the rug. The guy that had all that footage, and then he came out, I've talked about this before, he came out and said he was joking, and then everyone's like, no, it's like a double bluff kind of thing. So you don't know what to believe on that one. But what happened? Where's all the footage? Like, where is all the footage? Everyone's got footage of everything these days. Everything. You can't go anywhere without being filmed these days. So where's all the kids with fights? Where's all that fight footage? So there's obviously something there. All the police in their force has gone to the mall. No one's allowed to film. Everyone's took all the footage off them. No one's got any proper footage of. Everyone would have the phones out. Do you know what I mean? Fireworks. None of that's there in 2024. Comments? Anyone want to explain the comments? I don't know. But anyway, something's been swept under the rug there, innit? Unless that was a false flag blue beam or whatever, I don't know. It's all over the gaff now, innit? You don't know what's going on.
It was in 1969 in Siberia. There was this coal mine, and they were down 230 feet, and this one guy hit the coal. A hole opened up, and it was a tunnel. What they found was this 8-foot-long white marble sarcophagus. Boss immediately alerts the military and stuff like that, but the coal miners were like, once the SSR dudes get down here, they're gonna take it, pop the lid. Smart. And what they find in there is a perfectly preserved woman. It's like she was wearing like a translucent dress. She was covered in this like pink liquid, and it was too heavy to lift, and so they're like, let's just drain it of the pink liquid.
Oh boy.
So they drained it, and instantly after they drained it, the woman started to decompose.
It was preserving her?
They brought it back.
Yeah.
They did lab tests on it and stuff. Could not identify what the pink liquid was. Immediately after that, all the miners were fired. And then around the coal mine, they had military. And it was in the 70s that these news reporters were writing about this. And the KGB was like, stop talking about this. And they're in fact arrested.
For what then?
False information. And then it wasn't until the SSR dissolved in the 90s that an article came out in 2002 talking about this sarcophagus.
Classic, innit? You didn't see nothing, didn't hear nothing. NDAs, military sweeping, you're fired. Do you know what I mean? Hush hush. Same old tactics. As far as things being under your feet, excuse me, as far as things being under your feet, it could be under your feet for 5 years or 5 billion years. It would not make the slightest difference. If it's under your feet and you don't know it's there, then it's under your feet and you don't know it's there. Do you know what I mean? I think the longer it is and the higher the number is, people just tend to think it's like less believable, which is beyond me. We just spoke about what's underground, do you know what I mean, and what potentially could be underground, so I don't think there's anything more to add to that, apart from it's interesting, and that's it. Simpsons do it again, maybe. Maybe the Simpsons had something to do with it. Is that a coincidence? Is it CGI? Is it AI? Do you know what I mean? Is someone blagging because of the Simpsons predictions? I don't know. It's hard to believe anything these days. If it's true, I feel like I've seen something about it before. I might just be thinking that. I think I might be overthinking. Either way, them Simpsons. I'm gonna watch them Simpsons. They're always in the business. They've got a finger in every pie, haven't they? I don't know about that one.
You guys remember when I said this? Elephant escapes zoo terrorizes locals. Have you seen what's happening? December 3rd, and this is not the only one, guys. I'm going to show you 3 different videos from around the world. Elephants going crazy in December 2024. This, I believe, was somewhere in Asia. This, I believe, is somewhere in India, December 6th, 2024. And there's still one more. Why are the world's elephants going crazy? I don't know. I thought I would get that prediction wrong, to be honest. But I saw it, so I put it. And here we are, December, and somehow this is happening, or I've just stumbled into like elephant rage TikTok. I'm not sure, but have you been seeing this? This is from another angle. Someone else recorded this, and the final one, we have 3 different elephants acting amok in December. Very strange, but if you want something in your newsfeed that's pretty damn good at predicting stuff, make sure to hit those buttons and watch out for some of my other future videos. But check this one out. December 8th, South Africa. Literally, what's going on with the world's elephants? Is this a conspiracy?
What it is with this guy is, he's just, videos are so simple but effective. He has been actually making something, like predicting some things. I'm going to pay more attention to it. I see him all the time. It's only now and again I pay attention to him, but I'm going to start paying attention to him more often because, I don't know, it's just, what he's doing is working. Do you know what I mean? It works. It's just so simple but effective. Watch out for him if you see more of him.
Don't forget, it's live. There's energy moving there. If you took a piece of fine copper wire and you wrapped so many coils around it, leaving one end loose, and then wrapped it with some mica, and then wrap the rest of the coil around it and leave the two wires, one outside the mica and one inside the mica. Now you have a little motor. It won't work the motor as it is. You put it in a vise or something to squeeze it at the center, then the two wires will make a little motor run. It's what you call piezoelectricity. Supposing I put that up into a pyramid or a bigger crystal, then this is feeding that more energy and it's continuous. If you squeeze this to make it work, energy comes out, and as you release it, it comes back in again. It goes, it'll breathe for you. You'll never squeeze it empty, but as you release the pressure, so it fills itself again immediately, reaches balance. It has to stay in balance. And so you have a little motor there. That's one thing you can use your crystal for. If you can imagine the 30-foot pyramid that I had, knowing that it contained energy and it's free-flowing, it's always coming in and it's non-stop. I said, well, why can't I harness this? 2 coils. One was just a small one like this, and it was electric coil, counterclockwise. And I hung that in the top of the pyramid. But before I did that, it was stove wire, and there's about 8 strands of copper wire and stove wire, and I undid them and made them into a lot of fingers like this, spread them out, something like an antenna. And this end here, I just hung it up, fastened it up onto the beams, and that was right in the peak. Now I went downstairs with old antenna wire. It was double wire, and I put one end straight through into the earth. And so looking at it like this, it stuck through there, and my coil is on here like that. And the other end I left standing up. All this wire here is only quarter ply, and I used 2-inch staples. The staples went straight through the ply and gave me a better ground. This was also ground in the center. Many things that have happened to me in my time that I can't really explain. There are many things that I have known, but don't know how I know. This is one instance where this happened to me. I knew I had to connect these two together with some natural wool, sheep's wool. Nylon was not what I wanted. And so I got hold of some ordinary wool, and I measured it out. Up the stairs go right to the top. I measured it out so it hung from here to within 6 inches of the floor. Plenty to fasten to that and to fasten to this. Now I stood on some steps up there and fastened that to there. I just wrapped around, tied it round. Simple, nothing clever about it. Just fastened it to this copper wire, bringing down, but it wasn't touching the floor. I went downstairs to connect this to that, and as I caught hold of that, it threw me 20 feet across the floor. I'm 180 pounds. And he picked me up and threw me 20 feet across the floor. I got no skin on this elbow here and all down my leg here. And I lay there for about 5 minutes at least, wouldn't know what happened to me. All I had done was touched a piece of wool. Now, this wool had gone through, it wasn't even connected to this, it had gone through my cube root of the pyramid, which was about here, and up to the point, the second magnitude there, and that part was connected. And when I touched that, I grounded the whole damn thing, and it threw me 20 feet across the floor. I didn't know what had happened to me, and the result of it was I took the whole thing to pieces. I still have the parts. I realized that I was fooling around with something I didn't really understand. It taught me a lesson. But it also meant that I could stand here and tell you, don't fool around with these crystals until you know what you're doing.
Again, the crystals. Told you about the crystals. If you think they're wacky, just look into them. If you don't think they're wacky, look into them. Trust me, crystals. They knew what they're talking about. Obviously, I'm into like healing balls. Do you know what I mean? I want to buy. Scratch that. I want to get into healing balls. For ages I've been wanting to do it. Healing balls, crystals, all that stuff. Do you know what I mean? Peace. mind, body, soul, all that. Just calm, zen, crystals, all that. Why not give it a try? What's the worst that could happen, do you know what I mean? You never know if you don't try, do you know what I mean? And don't be scared to think, what will people that you know think? Or like, what are people going to say about you if you try things? Do you know what I mean? It's crack on with it, man. Who cares? You only live once.
Vatican, they have a lot of fucking Luciferian shit. Look at the resurrection. Look at the sculpture of the resurrection. Pull that up, the sculpture, and you tell me if that's Jesus. Look up this is in the Vatican Cathedral.
Okay.
The sculpture of the resurrection.
Eddie, have you ever
it does not look like Jesus.
Have you ever been to the Vatican?
I've seen a lot of videos on it.
You should go. You should go.
It's amazing.
Just to see it. It's pretty fucking
I'm sure
stunning.
I'm sure it's
drinking the
fascinating.
blood of Christ and eating his
Look at
flesh.
this. Look at this. This is their main church. That does not. That's supposed to be Jesus right there. This is supposed. It looks like a Slayer album cover.
Well,
that looks like Hella Waits.
It's an artist rendering.
That looks like Hella Waits. Slayer right there. So they're saying.
Pull up the.
So this is supposed to represent the resurrection of Jesus.
I spoke about this in about last episode, maybe the one before, the Vatican, not the Vatican, the one where he speaks from, that weird thing he had behind him, creepy Pope. Eddie Bravo though, do you love Eddie Bravo? And Theo Von said he's like a deaf Jack Russell, you can't get him back. He is, but I love the way he explains it. Joe Rogan, I said it last time I said this, I think it was way back in the first episode, or one of the first episodes, I said, we love Joe, but the way he treats Eddie really gets on my nerves, the way he like, right. It's like he's condescending towards Eddie Bravo, who's his long-time friend, just because he gets excitable. So what? Get out to pretend to be smarter than what we are, do you know what I mean? He's just talking, he's spitting facts. Look at the state of what he's talking about. The thing behind the Pope, when he talks, that's nothing to do with holy and Christianity. I don't know.
And just to refresh my memory, it's that like the Bigfoot is a species from some other realm or some other planet.
Well, from the perspective of my dad's dream, they wiped themselves out in a cataclysm, and the Guardians, this sounds like some movie plot or something. Like high fantasy
love it.
But
It's
like,
awesome. I love
the
it.
beings that like my dad experienced initially, they called themselves the Guardians. In my dad's dream, they came in and they kind of like just took all the souls of the billions of dead beings. When they destroyed themselves, they went into a shock. Like, like they always say spirits stay behind when it has a shocking death. Well, imagine a whole race having a shocking extinction.
Whoa. Yeah.
So the Guardians took their souls, fashioned them a more primitive body, brought them to Mars, and gave them the capabilities of interdimensional travel, and they kind of roam between Mars and Earth. It's very similar to the D-classed excerpt on CIA.gov, the 1984 mission to Mars, where they had a remote viewing team, remote view Mars. That's exactly what I was just saying. Like, they correlate. Well, they got the same information basically. Right. Resonates with me. Bigfoot's dope, dude.
You hear this all the time, like, they know when you're in this state, or before you're going to get to the state, or if you've got weapons on you. And that's when people say you can see them on camera. They're always elusive. It's because they can sense like ECG meters and stuff, and there's loads of paranormal stuff to it. Even way back before the Patterson Gimlin film in the late 60s, 67, whenever it was, 68, the people was having encounters back then. So there's more to it than just gorilla beats on chest. It's paranormal or supernatural. There's way more to it, and the samurai chatter they have. There's a lot to it that people can't grasp. So remote viewing is extremely possible, especially in this day and age when people are finding out more about it. So it's like you've got to be more open-minded about it, at least this day and age. I can imagine in the 60s, mind speak. You're like, why, you madness? Get him in there, lock him up, asylum, in an asylum. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be open-minded with this stuff. If you're going to start getting into the Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Sabe people, hairy man, all that, you need to be open-minded, because some of it's going to sound crackers until you hear someone else correlate a story from another state who don't know each other, who've never met, and they said exactly the same thing. So, open-minded. That's all I say. That's all I ask.
And so all you need to do is focus on a person long enough, or an object long enough, anything that you want long enough, and you are now entangled with that thing. And information changes in that thing can be reflected in you.
The entanglement process is a pixel of energy that can expand and feed information back to us. This process can allow us to bring in stored subconscious information, knowledge, and open up a gateway to abundance through this process of entanglement. It becomes easy to read energies and people and places and things, and everybody has the ability to do it.
Manifestation. At this point, do we even need to question it? There's been so many cases, and especially since The Secret come out, the book, anybody has tried it, do you know what I mean? It's worked for so many people. There's so many documented cases about it working. It's not even a question at this point. If you question it, then you're seriously narrow-minded and stubborn at this point, in my opinion. So, can't help you for that one. Can't help you on that one, sorry. Let's move on.
Earth. What happens is the body saturates with electrons practically instantaneously. It's so fast that you can't measure it. So electrons from the Earth enter the body right away, and they coat the red blood cells so that the cells repel each other. And then they can't clump, and the blood viscosity goes down. It's easier for the heart to pump the blood pressure goes down. All kinds of cardiovascular issues, they go away.
Talking about grounding, a couple of pyramids, a couple of episodes back, maybe I've spoken in a few episodes. Grounding is unbelievable. I've been doing this for time. No, I'm not going to say it. Yeah, alright. I hugged a tree once and I liked it. I hugged a tree and I liked it. I did it a few times. Grounding is amazing. Literally, you feel instantly better. And say you did it for 20 minutes a day. Every time I go outside in the garden or something, I'll pull my shoes straight off. I do it. I do it all the time. I love to be in barefoot. It just, whether it's placebo or not, whether it's all a joke, it just makes you feel better. Worth trying. Do you know what I mean? Just watch what you're stepping in. But yeah, it is. I think it's unbelievable. I think it's amazing what the human body can do. The earth, the human body, what the things that we're not taught, that clever people find out, or people with take risks, or are just free and just try things and it works, and then they just pass that knowledge on. Selfless people, I like it. I love it. It's the way forward.
You've been critical of Elon Musk. How do you feel about his involvement with the Doge?
Well, I think that time will prove me correct. Time will always reveal someone's true character, and if you put that man in a position of power, his true character will be revealed. And let's just put it this way. He has all the money in this country. He's the wealthiest man in the country, and he wasted on fucking rockets, man. Think about it, dude. He could actually help people with that money, but he don't give a shit about you. He's got all the money in the world to help you. It'd be a penny to him, and you would never have to work again. He don't give a shit about you, though. He wants to waste it on rockets and waste it on all these cars that suck. And time will reveal the character of that man. And the more he gets under the spotlight, you can't fake it forever. His character will be revealed, and you mark my words, it will be seen that he is a rat bastard. And you know, if I had all that money, I would like to think I would help people more than he does.
I have to chuck this one in. I say it all the time. There's no billionaire who's good who can literally change the world tomorrow. Literally end homelessness tomorrow, end world hunger tomorrow, and never does it. And everyone thinks the sun shines out his ass. I don't trust Elon. He does a few little things like, oh, he does X. Let's just speak your truth, yeah. But then it's like everyone follows him religiously now. He's sticking chips in people's brains. They're guinea pigs. These people are desperate, and he knows they're not going to say no for the right price. They're guinea pigs. He might be trying to help, and if he's not, he's trying to line his pockets because he could just literally end world hunger tomorrow. It just doesn't. So what does that tell you? How can you still keep trusting people like that and buzzing off them? I ain't used Amazon, I can't even remember years. Jeff Bezos, do you know what I mean? They could end world hunger tomorrow. I literally made an X account to get videos of it. A month ago, been on it 10 times, if that. I was never on Twitter. Do you know what I mean? One, because I'm not clued up, it's hard. But I hate even being on it. It gives me the ick, as people say these days. It gives me that sticky, icky when I'm on it. But I'm going to use him for his clips. Either way, just be mindful of your worship, these celebrities and all these and all that. Think for yourself, be open-minded, the world's changed, there's no more celebrity. TV, news, dead, dinosaurs, gone. Let's move on, let's move forward, open your eyes. And anyway, thanks for joining me. If you're still here, thank you. Tell somebody about the channel, like, subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you on the next one. Ciao, ciao.